Hi, my name is Suzanne Willis, and I will be your chemistry instructor this semester for the summer semester for Chemistry 151. This video will introduce you to myself and to the course, how it'll run and where all the components are, and try to answer a lot of questions up front so that you have an idea of what's expected and where you can find everything for the class. A little bit about myself. I have been teaching chemistry for the last 12 years, and the last 7 of those have been at AP Tech. I love teaching chemistry greatly because I love the subject, but also really because it's one of those classes that, a lot of times that topic is not people's favorites, but I always appreciate trying to make it at least understandable for you, and I like to say up front how much I want you to succeed, and I want you to leave the semester with a good understanding of the material and feeling successful, and that you have the resources to help you do that. So I'm glad to help you in any way that I can during the summer. It is a very, very quick course, so I understand that the demands of this class they're really high, and both time-wise and effort-wise, all of that. So I commend you for putting that effort in and managing your time, because it's not really an easy thing to do in 8 weeks of the class. So I'll try to set you up so that you can be successful despite that pace. I am a mom of 4, so we have 4 children. They are 8, 6, 4, and 6 months old. So we have a little bit of a busy household here, and are all home for the summer. So that is good, and thankful to be your instructor and hope I can help you however I can. So as far as this class runs, I will walk through this document, which is called the mini syllabus, to try to keep organized with this video. There is a full syllabus on Moodle I will point you to, but this will just kind of highlight the main things that I want to tell you. So we are an asynchronous course. That means that we will never meet face-to-face on Zoom. We will just communicate via email, and all of the resources will be put up on Moodle for you, and you will just work on them as the course proceeds. The best way to communicate is my email. It's listed right here. I will email you back as soon as possible. I will always email you back within 24 hours. If you have not heard from me, please email me again. You are not bothering me. You're just making sure that it's sticking in my brain. So if I haven't responded within 24 hours, then it has somehow gotten past me, okay? So there's my email. That's how we will communicate. Every week I will send 1 to 2 emails, just kind of refreshing your memory of what's due for the week and giving you any reminders or hints that might have come up, or if something was, there was a mistake. You've already seen a couple of my typos, so that happens, and I'm glad to just communicate the best I can to help you out. The Mastering Chemistry course ID is here, and I'll talk about that as I go. So primarily where all of our course material will be found is on Moodle. So you will go to moodle.abtech.edu, and if you have any trouble signing in, you can contact Student Services to figure out your login information. And I'll jump to Moodle now to kind of just show you how this is set up. So here's the Mastering Chemistry course. At the top here, I will always have the upcoming due dates, so the dates that are due up to the next test, or especially for that given week. I've also put just a list of things you need to do here at the beginning of the class right off the bat. That just gives you a check, 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 like no questions about what you need to be doing. They're listed here. Go through those. And then right here will be the upcoming due dates that I will always update. Okay, so yes, I will email you dates, but you don't have to wait for my email. It will all be found right here. Okay, so that's what will be at the top. And then my Moodle class will be, there's a lot more stuff on here than you'll see. But if it's your first time in an AB Tech course, please watch the COVID video here. We're not going on campus, so you don't need to worry about those policies, but that if you are on campus, it's very important that you watch that video. Here's the mini syllabus, which is what I'm going through currently with you, and here is the full syllabus. So today I will ask you at some point to run through the full syllabus. Make sure you get any questions that you have answered. so that you can verify and say that you understand the course. That is right here, this syllabus verification. All you'll need to do is click on it and say, yes, I have read the syllabus, I understand the policies, I've asked any questions that I have. That'll be your first and really important assignment. It's not for a grade, however, it is to allow you to be counted as participating in the course. So it's very important that you do that. That you click and tell me, mention that you have seen the syllabus and you understand it. It's just a yes or no question. Here are the tutoring services I'll talk about here in a little bit. There's Thinking Storm, which is 24 hours a day. The Academic Learning Center is not 24 hours a day, but it's where I would go first for tutoring, and I would use it often and as much as you'd like to. They are very helpful with homework, labs, any questions that you have. They'll answer you for 5 minutes or they'll answer you for an hour. They'll stick with you. Here is an equation sheet. It might be helpful to just have this printed off from the beginning of the course because it goes through the equations for all of the semester so that you'll have them handy and in front of you. Then you can always make notes on them as we go through the different topics. Solubility rules, they'll come up later in the course. Periodic table is something else you may want to print and have available. And then the rest of these are just kind of links for you. Extra information up there. Here you'll see this is where my lectures are. So when you are going through lecture material, you have two options. I want to try to be as clear as I can here. What I recommend you using is this first link, which is Willis Live Videos. Now the thing with these are my recordings from this spring semester, and it's going to feel like a classroom setting. So I am talking to you, I'm writing on the computer. You'll see me as if I'm writing on a whiteboard. And therefore you can also take notes as I'm going because I'm writing and talking at the same time. Those are what I recommend. However, here is another set of my videos, exactly the same information, but they were pre-recorded. They're not going to feel as much like a classroom setting. They may save you a little bit of time watching, but it's not going to give you the time to write. You're going to have to pause the video, write, because the notes will have already been written in that. So I recommend the live videos, okay? When you click on this link, what will come up is a handout like this. And it is broken down into the different weeks. So each week it'll tell you the lectures to watch. Now it looks like a lot of them, and it depends on the week. But I would expect to be watching about 6 hours of videos because if we were meeting on campus, we would be in lecture for 6 hours. So just kind of have that in mind. It sounds like a whole lot. It is a lot, but it's the same as what the expectations would be if we were face-to-face, okay? So you would watch those videos for that week, and then the following week, you'd go to these. On the right side are the notes that I have taken during the video. So they have my writing on them. If you would like to look at them at any point, you can, okay? The really, really big important thing that's in red here is I mentioned in these videos different due dates, but those were the due dates for the spring course. So please ignore me if I talk about something that's due and just focus on the content. I think these are going to help you a lot more than the pre-recorded lessons. So I think these lectures are the way to go. But you can make your own decision. You can try them both. Okay, so those are laid out for the entire course. You are welcome to listen to these anytime you want. It's just I've laid them out so that you don't get behind. It kind of helps you pace each week so that you don't get overwhelmed at any point, hopefully. Okay, so that's where your lecture videos are going to be. That's going to be on you to watch each week. Labs. The way labs work in this class is they're mostly going to be from your lab manual, which will be purchased at the AB Tech bookstore. And you'll submit your completed pages here. So you'll take pictures of your completed pages, convert them to PDF using an app, and then upload it here. There are 3 labs that are mastering chemistry assignments. I'll mention that here in a little bit. But you'll complete those like you do your homework, and I'll show you that. But this top link is really important to bring up. So when you click here, this is where all the lab resources are. So when it's time to do experiment 1, you'll come here and watch my video. Experiment 2, you'll come here and watch my videos. What the videos will do is I am going through the techniques, I'm walking you through the lab, I'm telling you hints about the lab, and then I'm also giving you data. So you take the data that's provided, you record it into your lab manual, then you complete your calculations, and then once your pages are complete, that's when you take pictures, convert it to PDF, and then you upload it onto Moodle, and I grade it on there. Okay, so that's how labs will work. Every week you will have 2 labs due. So that means you have 2 labs to be tackling that week. Once again, if we were in person, we would be in a lab room for 6 hours together. So please be mindful that that's also going to take up some of your time as well. So try not to put those off till the last minute. These are always due on Sundays, okay? Just so you have a kind of a consistency for yourself. Every Sunday you'll have 2 labs due, okay? Tests will occur every 1 to 2 weeks, generally 2 weeks. And they will be here. They'll tell you how long you have to take the test. You'll have a 2-day window where you can take it any time between those 2 days. You do only have 1 attempt for your test. And you are able to use your course material. So you can have stuff with you. We do ask that you don't use any other person during tests and that you don't use the internet. You just use our course material. Okay, so have your notes handy. However, the one thing I say here is it is nice to be able to use your notes, but if you are going on in chemistry, you need to make sure to be really retaining information as well so that you are moving forward to a face-to-face environment where you have a really good understanding of the material and some of the things more memorized that I mentioned. Okay, so that's where all the tests are. Here's a final exam. That's going to be a longer test and it's over all of the semester. Okay, so it will cover the entire semester. Okay, and then each chapter will have a setup like this, okay? The top few links are just kind of general things, PowerPoints, handouts, objectives, but that's departmental. The things that pertain to my course specifically generally start with these things called guided notes. So if you open the guided notes, what I recommend is printing these. It's a blank outline, you can see. This is what I teach using. So I don't use PowerPoint. I instead write on here as it were a whiteboard and I fill in the notes. What you'll notice is when I do my live recordings, what you have the filled in notes here, those may or may not match the lecture identically. They're fine, but what I recommend is printing these, filling them in as you listen. And what you'll notice again is when you go here for the live videos, not only is it the lectures, but it's also the notes that I've filled in those videos. So these notes right here have exactly what I said, exactly the examples I did, etc. So these will be the filled in notes that match what I talked about. I do recommend you writing the notes just because that makes it get into your head better. But of course you can trial and error and do what works best for you. The other things listed on Moodle are just practice things. A lot of times there's a practice test and an answer key, an extra worksheet and an answer key. That's always optional, but it'll be listed there for you for each chapter. So you'll always notice a guided notes. And once again, I recommend printing the blank ones and using those during the lecture videos. Okay? So each chapter follows that very similar format. You're going to focus on the guided notes and then anything extra is posted there as well. Okay, so that just gives you kind of an introduction to the Moodle page. So now let me jump back to our mini syllabus. So I will have mentioned a lot of these things. I'll just kind of say them again. So the syllabus is on Moodle. You can read through it and then verify that you've read through it. Email, please check your email regularly. If there's anything that I think you need to know, that is how I will communicate. So if I've, changed a date for something, if I've pushed back a deadline, if I want to help you with a homework problem as a class, I'll email those things. So please check email regularly and please email me as needed. I am very happy to try to answer questions via email as well. The grading. So the 3 types of assignments you will be turning in are tests. We saw those on Moodle. Labs, we saw those on Moodle. So you're going to submit the labs from your lab manual. And then there are a few labs, like I mentioned, that will be mastering chemistry. Mastering chemistry is where your homework assignments will be. Okay, so those are the only 3 types of graded work for the semester. We've talked about the videos. You have 2 types of videos to be watching. The lectures for each chapter, and then also the techniques and data information for each labs. Okay, so those are the videos you'll watch. The guided notes are the things that are posted on Moodle. You can print them and fill them in as you watch the lecture videos. That's what I recommend. The Mastering Chemistry. So this is a required component to the course. You have to purchase the Mastering Chemistry access code, and it has to match that 14th edition of the textbook. I'll show you that here in a minute. That's where all of your homework is going to be. There is 1 assignment per chapter. So every chapter has an assignment. You can take each assignment up to 2 times, and the highest grade is kept. So you can use that however you want to use that. But you do have 2 tries, and the highest grade will be kept. The lowest homework grade will be dropped. Okay? Labs. So most of the labs will be from your lab manual, and you'll complete them all, and then you'll need to get some type of app. One of them is called Cam Scanner, or if you have an iPhone, I believe Notes can take a picture and convert it to PDF. You'll need to convert it to PDF and then upload it on Moodle under Labs. And if it's in PDF form, I can then correct it and write on it. So that's why I need it to be in that form. I'll be able to see it and correct it for you so that you can actually have feedback for yourself. Okay, make sure your pictures are clear and that I can read them very well. 3 of the labs, you will not use your lab manual, and instead you'll do a Mastering Chemistry assignment. Okay, I will make sure you know that as that week comes. Okay, you have 1 lowest lab grade that will also be dropped. Okay, 1 lab grade dropped. Here, as far as late assignments go for these 2 categories, Mastering Chemistry, you can always complete Mastering Chemistry, and it will never go lower than 50% of grade reduction. You can complete it anytime, and it's 5% each day past due. Now, if you have a situation with COVID, you have some type of situation that is out of the ordinary, you haven't asked for extensions every week. You know, in the syllabus, there's a policy list about this. Just, I can work with you, and I'm happy to work with you, especially given the crazy scenarios that we have going on right now. But I do need you to communicate and not wait until the end of the course to say, oh no, I haven't done any of my homework. Can I please do it for a better grade? Please don't do that, but please communicate if you do have things going on with your family, with work, etc., and we can try to work it out. So that's homework. Labs. I only accept labs up to 2 days late. That's very important. Primarily, that's because I grade labs the week they're turned in for the most part. So please turn in your labs on time. 10% reduction in credit for each day, up to 2 days late. Once again, I can give extensions, but not on a regular basis. It has to be a circumstance out of the ordinary, okay? That's also for your sake, because you don't want to get to the end of the semester and have all your labs still to do. 1 lab grade also gets dropped. Tests. Tests need to be taken within those 2 days that are assigned for you. A test grade is not dropped. However, the final exam will count as 2 additional test grades, and then it also can replace your lowest test grade if it helps your score. Okay, so you don't drop a grade, just your final exam can replace 1 grade. Okay, that's how the test grades will work. Web Advisor, that's where you'll find your final grades at the end of the semester. Throughout the semester, your grades can be found on Moodle. I update them pretty regularly. Every test time, I update all of the grades. I transfer the Mastering Chem grades over, and the Moodle grade book will be updated. For tutoring services, I really recommend using these as you need. The Academic Learning Center is such a great tool. They're very familiar with our course, with our labs, with our homeworks. You can go to them at any time during their open hours. If you go to the top of Moodle, you can click on the Academic Learning Center and just click a link, and it'll be Zoom. You don't have to use your video. You don't even have to use a microphone. You can just show them your screen with a question or a topic and ask them to help you there. Thinking Storm is a 24-hour online tutoring. We are limited in the number of hours you get. So that's why I would go to the Academic Learning Center before you use Thinking Storm. But in the middle of the night, Thinking Storm would be your more useful tutoring service. Okay, for course materials, I've emailed you guys this, but just to try to be clear, a textbook is pretty optional in the sense that I won't be giving you assignments out of the textbook. It's more just a supplementary resource for you. So you can have an e-text, you can have a hard copy, you can have the older edition. Whatever you'd like there is great. If you have another general chemistry book already, it will probably work perfectly fine. Mastering Chemistry, absolutely required. It must match the 14th edition of this textbook, and you can purchase it at the bookstore or at masteringchemistry.com. Here is our course ID. If you already own Mastering Chemistry from a previous semester, it will work for 1 calendar year, so you don't have to purchase it again, as long as it was Chem 151, like if you're taking this for a second time, okay? You will need an app on some type of device in order to change your lab pictures into PDF form. You'll need a lab manual, which has to be purchased at AB Tech Bookstore. I do believe they can ship it to you, so touch base with the bookstore if you need that option. Some type of calculator that will do exponents, scientific notation. It does not need to be graphing. And then just regular online access. We do have online access provided at the college, so please let me know if you need that at any point. And then here's the tentative schedule. So here I would print this, I would have it in front of you, and it just breaks down each week what you should be working on. So here are the lecture videos you should be listening to. Remember, approximately 6 hours. Labs, it tells you the labs and when they're due. If it is not from the lab manual, see, 1 is lab manual, lab manual, lab manual, but experiment 4 is not the lab manual. It's going to be a Mastering Chemistry assignment instead. And then you just keep going. You see all the labs are kind of like that. There's another Mastering Chem, and there's one more. Okay, so those are the labs. You'll have 2 per week. And then here you have any other assignments that are due. So the first assignment will be syllabus verification on Moodle to say you have read the syllabus and you feel good about the course expectations. And then your Mastering Chemistries, they will also be due on Sundays. So all of our due dates will be Sundays for labs and homeworks. The homeworks, I just always have them due the day of the test. So your test will always go a Sunday, Monday period until the very end of the semester. At the very end, your final will be a Thursday, Friday, because that's the last 2 days of the class. But that's how this schedule is lined out. So yes, there are due dates and a pacing that you should follow, but a lot of this can be completed when you want to. You can get Mastering Chemistries done as soon as you want. You can get labs done as soon as you want, assuming you have listened to the required lectures. Okay, so that's kind of how the course flows and how it works for you. Let me go over to Mastering Chemistry for a second to show you what that looks like. So here you'll notice you have all of the chapters. Every single one has an assignment. Once again, you have 2 attempts at each one. And then the 3 labs that are on here, they're already posted. Again, you have 2 attempts at those, and the highest grade will be kept. And then I have to manually move these grades over to Moodle. And that's what I do every time you take a test. Okay, so that's why your Moodle gradebook will be up to date every test date. Okay, I'll move everything over. So that is an introduction to the course and how it will work. I hope that that is clear for you. I'm sure there will be questions as you're kind of getting oriented and getting comfortable, just to be clear on what you need to be doing. So first, you're watching this video, so you could put a check there. You're going to review the syllabus and complete the syllabus verification on Moodle. You need to go ahead and get started on Mastering Chemistry. There is a free 2-week trial there, so if you want to try it out, if you're not sure you're going to stay in the course, or if financial aid is an issue, then you can use the free access. You need to purchase the lab manual. If you are unable to get the lab manual or you order it and you don't have it in time, please let me know so that I can send you the first 2 experiments via email. I can do that, and then you can complete them until your lab manual gets there. Go ahead and figure out how you're going to get your lab pages converted to PDF so that you're ready for that when that first due date comes. Make sure you're aware of the Academic Learning Center, which is at the top of Moodle. and go ahead and print Chapter 1 notes and get started for the live videos. Once again, please ignore all the due dates that are in those videos, okay? And then you'll just see the updated, the upcoming due dates. So please, once again, let me know if you have questions as we're going through the semester. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm glad to help you however I can. So please be in touch with me, and I'll email you regularly to kind of keep you up to speed on any changes to the course. Thanks so much. I hope all goes well for you.